Good?
Hey, go ahead.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. It is February 23rd, 2011, and it looks like we have a full board. I'd like to welcome Cal Whitten to the board. Everyone's present. What I'd like to do is I'm going to swap agenda items 2 and 3 just for the fact we may have an issue with the non-minute meetings, so let's get those out of the way first in case we have to remove the people for a moment. If I remember correctly, well, actually, let's do this first. January 27th, 2010 meeting. Excuse me, 2011. It says 2010. Anyone have any issues with those minutes?
What date was that?
The last meeting, January 29th. Your father took the, did I say 29th? I'm sorry, 27th.
Yeah, I just have a point of clarification. It says there was a motion to accept the minutes of November 29th, and the motion was passed 4-0. And then there are the meetings of November 29th. I know you had some corrections that you wanted to make for those.
Right, that's
Those
why
minutes.
that's why this is on there, because the question is the non-meeting minutes.
Okay, so these are the corrected meeting with,
What do you have? I don't know.
well, I picked it up over there. These are the ones with your changes in it, is that correct?
Could I see that? As far as I remember, these were the actual meeting minutes, and these are what we approved. We did not approve the non-meeting minutes, correct?
Right, yeah. John, maybe I can clarify this for you. And I think the motion passes as amended 4-0. I didn't make the amendment in there, but it was basically the minutes were tabled to be discussed at the next meeting. So they really didn't approve the minutes of that November 29th meeting. Okay?
Okay.
They were not approved because there were changes to be made, remember?
Well, I remember the changes, yeah. I just wanted to make sure what we're voting on, that's all.
Okay.
Okay.
So right now, we're talking about the January 27th meeting, the last
Okay,
meeting.
right.
Anyone have any issues with those? Motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
Okay. Now, this is where I have a question where we also have what are being called the non-meeting minutes, because on the November 29th meeting, we did go into a non-meeting at one point to discuss legal issues. And my question is, do we need to clear the room to discuss those minutes? Or are we good?
Were they sealed?
I do not believe so.
They would have been noted in here if they were.
If they weren't sealed, then I don't believe, I think that they're public record.
All right, so let's go with the meeting minutes John just showed me. Anyone have any issues with those?
Move to accept the meeting minutes of November 29th.
Second? No second?
Second.
Approve? Excuse me, in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move to the non-meeting minutes of November 29th. The question I had was that last paragraph, Ed, I really don't know what you're trying to say there. I needed some clarification.
I think it's fairly clear.
Okay, run through it for me then, please. I have no idea what you're trying to say there.
It was just a summary of what was discussed. If somebody had approached anyone in reference to a trash burner project.
What are you looking at?
You're looking at the non-meeting, right? Is that what you're looking at?
I don't know.
No, I think it looks like he's got something different than what we're looking at.
Yeah. This is what you sent out to us last month. Starts with the
In the last sentence, you're saying?
last paragraph that starts with committee members.
On the other side is,
Sorry. And you're confused about the last sentence?
No, the whole thing. I honestly don't know what you're trying to say in there.
Discuss the fact that legal counsel indicated the committee could continue to discuss in a non-meeting status.
The presentation, and along with Mark Stevens being present, I have no idea what you're trying to say there.
Okay, I'd have to go back and look at my notes on that. I'm not sure.
might I suggest that if it's not clear for everybody, that maybe we defer this to the next meeting? That,
All right, we'll have to table that until the March meeting.
Did you read the minutes that you were given anyway?
Pardon me?
Did you read the non-public minutes that you were given anyway?
Again?
Until you get clarification?
Mike Ricker noted that Mark Stevens said no to the crossing, and the discussion after Stevens's departure was regarding taking back the Ham property. Michael Branch noted that the council had discussed that they will go after funds for the construction of the crossing, in addition to taking back the Ham property. Mike Ricker inquired relative to a statement made by town council that the possibility of seeking the rents of properties on the westerly side of the railroad tracks. John Badger noted that it may be possible to attach liens to the existing properties to secure payments. It was noted that the Black Bear TIFF Committee supports to the fullest extent any actions against Mr. Stevens at this time. Mike Ricker noted that he wanted to know if Mark Stevens' presence in the meeting with town council in any way affected the non-meeting status, as he was present for the presentation by the proposed developers seeking to develop the park. And the part I have a question is next, is committee members discussed the fact that legal counsel indicated that the committee could continue to discuss in a non-meeting status. The presentation, and along with Mark Stevens being present, Mr. Wojciechowski indicated a question by Mike Ricker that there was no update to any job activities from the prospective developers at this time. All right, so we'll table them again until the March meeting. Now we'll go to public comment. Does anyone from the public like to make a statement or ask a question? If so, please come to the podium and state your name and address so everyone know who you are.
Hi, Rosina Clarks, Wabi Falls Road, Newmarket. That's one of the things I had a question of, is that I would like to request a copy of the non-public minutes, but we already have those here. In answer to the question that Nancy made to the council, the makeup of the board, the advisory board, under 162K, I had the information that night but wasn't allowed to say, 160K14, and does anybody up here have their ordinance 162K with them? Great.
of course.
In a substantially residential development district, however, the board shall consist solely of owners or occupants of real property within or adjacent to the district. So basically, the two members that we have from planning and NCDC should not be there. It should be all members. It is a predominantly, and especially when it was formulated, it was a predominantly residential area. And I think it probably still is today.
I have to agree with you.
So, I mean, I think there's close to 15 1,500 residents there. So it is substantially residential, and I think that is something that maybe the board should take up immediately to ask the council to redo the resolution so as to comply with 162K14 as to the legal makeup of the board. And also, in regards to the October 21st meeting, the so-called non-meeting, I did get a recap.
If I could just interrupt just a second,
Sure.
Roseanne. I looked back through my emails and stuff, and I know the paperwork we had the last time that you had said we had October 21st meeting, but I'm pretty sure it was October 27th, because that's when everything paper trail I've seen says we had a meeting on the
Okay.
27th. So the
Okay.
one that you have there was
It
misstated.
was the issue I raised at the last meeting.
So it's the 27th, okay.
Right, so
And,
that was labeled
and
wrong, apparently.
My attorney received this from your attorney, and basically, I guess there were, councilors were present, some Black Bear TIFF members, and also an EDR representative, Robert Coffey, David Walker, both my neighbors, I live in Wally Falls, Robert Johnson, and attorney Earl Duval, Mark Stevens from Shearwater. And it was, the purpose of the meeting was to consult with Robert Upton, attorney for the town pursuant to 91A:2, Roman numeral IC, regarding the obligations of Shearwater Investments to construct the railroad. Attorney Upton advised the town council that although he was not certain that the meeting still qualified under 91A:2, Roman numeral IC, as a consultation with legal counsel, because subject matter remained the same and another attorney was present, it was his recommendation that the meeting continue. I don't know how an attorney can make that statement under 91A. Under 91A, yes, but not under the 91A regarding a non-meeting. That is attorney-client privilege. If the attorney was aware that somebody else was in the room other than his client, it is not a non-meeting. And it's a recap. The lawsuit, of course, is asking for minutes, proper minutes. So, and at the bottom of it, it says, it is a waste energy facility as a possible addition to the town's tax base, with relatively little impact on town services. The proposal was far from groundbreaking and would undergo considerable local review with much opportunity for public input before it can be constructed. I think it would be nice to have public input before it's approved, not constructed, but approved. You know, I just think that things should be done a little bit better and with the town's best interest, because it's evident that this board doesn't have it. And I would appreciate things to be done above board in the future. It would be nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
My name is Mary Lynn Sansucci. I live at 7 New Road, lived there for over 30 years. And I actually have several questions and comments pertaining to the operation of this TIF committee, but they overlap with my concerns for the operation of Newmarket in general. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to focus on one thing tonight. I want this board to consider at this time that budgets are stretched to the max for most taxpayers. Newmarket is operating with 3 major infrastructure components under serious stress, which will require large expenditures supported by taxes, with any, possibly, probably none, federal or state dollars, with the state being the way it is. These threatened components being, just so everybody knows what I'm talking about, the school is below standard. There are excessive demands on the water shortages. We've experienced those for anywhere from 5 to 10 years, depending on who you talk to. And an inadequate sewer system because of its proximity to Great Bay. With these factors in mind, this is not a time to be considering any development, never mind one that adds to the demands on the town's infrastructure. This is not a time to be considering anything that will take away precious tax dollars from the existing obligations of this town. My question is this: why doesn't this committee step up and provide an example to the rest of the town's management by presenting an option for financial constraint? Why doesn't this committee say to the town council, the town administrator, the town planner, and I could go on, as a concerned group of citizens aware of the financial demands on our taxpayers, we wish to be a model for the other agencies of the town's management and clearly submit that any development of this now open, undemanding land in the town of Newmarket would require substantial financial commitment from the town, never mind its environmental impact, and is particularly inappropriate at a time that we would only weaken the town by sucking precious tax dollars away from the town's current obligations. We, as a committee, wish to state that our priority is to put money towards strengthening the town's infrastructure while protecting taxpayers and not pursuing development. Additionally, we would recommend that other agencies act similarly. I am sure that such financial conservatism would be applauded by the citizens, and I will be glad to support this action by offering this same question to the town council at any of their meetings, and the town administrator, and any other committees. Thank you.
Thank you. If I could just say, Mary Lynn, right now, that's kind of why we're in a legal situation with the developer, Stevens, who is contractually obligated to do this railroad crossing. Initially, there was a lot of talk about the town just doing it, and some members of the board said absolutely not. It's his obligation, hold his feet to the fire. Because we did a study on that, and just the cost was, we wouldn't have been making money. The town would not have been making money. So in that respect, we are trying to be a little responsible with the taxpayers' dollars. Not that we're spending any, but you know what I mean? But that's my feeling on it.
Because there are other expenses too.
Pardon me?
There would be other expenses too to developing that area, like upgrading the access and the new road.
Right, and that was all part of the crossing, and it was not feasible. And in my opinion, and some of the other board members, there's no way that the town should be eating that.
It's too big a demand.
Yep, I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close public comment, and we will move to item 4, which is, speaking of the developer and the railroad crossing, can we get an update on where that is at? Ed?
I'm just a secretary. I'm just taking minutes. You got it?
Okay. Mike?
At the present moment, nothing has changed since our last meeting. Legal is still looking into options and ways of accomplishing the goals that this board has given to the council, and hopefully we'll have something in the very near future.
What's this going on, the 3rd month since the town council and the TIFF have agreed to say, hey, let's go for it?
Yeah, probably.
And we've heard nothing from the lawyer on where this is going? He's still researching it?
We've had a meeting, discussed our options as a non-meeting with legal a month ago, perhaps, I believe it was. And at that point, we gave him direction to go, and we're waiting for him to come back to us.
Okay. And have we had any response from Mr. Stevens?
Not to my knowledge.
Communication?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
That would be legal also. I mean, that's not anything that the council or that the town would undertake at this point.
All right. All right, we'll move to item number 5, and if I may, Ed, encroach upon you as town administrator. Has there been any developer interest in the Black Bear TIF?
No.
No. Have we heard anything more from EDR? Or,
No.
pardon me? No. Okay. Do we have any other business? No other business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.